Welcome to The Bottom Line, where we break down the most pressing issues of the business and economy world of the day. The challenging case of the deteriorating German economy is making rounds, especially here in Poland, on account of the multifaceted economic relationship shared by the two countries. But to understand the details, it's always best to get direct analysis of the situation. So I'm delighted to welcome Dr. Klaus Wohlrabe, senior economist at the IFO Institute in Munich. Good afternoon, and thank you very much for joining us today on TVP World.
Thanks for having me.
So the German economic forecast was originally positive in early 2024, but now the economy is smaller than it was 2 years ago, and I believe that the unemployment has increased as of last month. Could you give us the main factors that have actually caused the greatest impact as of right now? Perhaps you could give us three.
Yeah, so there we have also identified three issues. So the first one is a large economic policy uncertainty. So we see it in our surveys that firms are concerned that they are not really knowing in terms of legal or political issues what is coming over the next month. So this triggers uncertainty, and this brings me to my second point. So this uncertainty has an impact on the investment behavior of firms. So firms are hesitant or postpone investment. And we see this clearly in our survey that especially investment goods producers report a rather bad economic situation. And the third important point is that we see some hesitation with respect to consumer spending. So we have seen an increase in real wages, but consumers are reluctant to spend this money. This might be driven by some uncertainty or skepticism with respect to the inflation rate.
Okay, and also I think there are quite a lot of energy problems in Germany. It's expensive. We hear that companies want to relocate. These are all quite negative signals, and some say that actually a lot of it can also be attributed to the fact that German growth was actually quite dependent on previously importing cheap Russian gas. Can you comment on that, perhaps?
Yeah, this is one issue that explains partly the current stagnation that we see in the current stagnation of the German economy. So, but we already have seen some kind of structural change with respect to energy-intensive industry. Also, before we have seen the large rise in energy prices and gas prices, but this process has accelerated in some way, and we see that large investments in these energy-intensive sectors dropped due to these circumstances. But this, as I said, has already started before the energy crisis.
And in terms of the economic crisis being affected by structural problems and red tape, tell us about what these structural problems are and what this red tape is, because obviously this is very country specific. What are those problems and what needs to change, and how quickly could it possibly be changed?
And starting with the last issue, so unfortunately, it can't be changed that fast or that quickly, to be honest. At least I don't believe so. With respect to the structural issues, the thing is, after the crisis in 2008, 2009, the economic and financial crisis, we've seen a long period of very good growth rates, economic prosperity in the German economy. So, and what have been missed or by the politicians is that to start structural reforms. So, and then we coped quite good with the crisis of the Corona crisis and the war in the Ukraine. So we coped quite good these struggles, but now we've seen that the economy is not able to get back on track from itself, so to say. So now we cannot see the results of potentially structural issues, reforms before these crises. So what are the issues? Is the lack of skilled labor. So the demographic change will hit, has already begun, but will hit in the next 2 years and then afterwards onwards. So this is a main issue. In general, we see that as you know, the automotive sector is quite important. We see this transformation from the combustion engine to the electronic cars is quite challenging and has started too late from my perspective. These are one of the main reasons that we see this stagnation of the German economy.
And we also see that many German companies are laying off people and also going bankrupt. Can you give us some more details about what is happening on that landscape?
Yeah, I would not overemphasize this issue. We've seen some news in the media, but the number of bankrupt firms has risen recently, but from a very low level. So I would not overemphasize this. And those firms who have gone bankrupt were not those firms with large number of employees. So the impact on the labor market has been quite small. So so that is not a big issue from my perspective. As we've seen also, we have a record high of employed people in Germany. So more than 40 million people are employed in Germany. So that's not a big issue. But given that we have a long period of no or very low numbers, this gains much more attention now in the media when you see that there are some mass layoffs. But actually, we do not have mass layoffs. So we see higher bankruptcy issues, but this might be also as a consequence of the corona crisis, where some firms might have survived but do not have a sustainable business running.
The German economy is obviously highly associated with car production and obviously the export of cars, but we know that the demand has fallen, obviously connected with lower demand from China and the US and obviously trade tensions. What comes next, keeping in mind those geopolitical tensions and obviously some volatility on that front?
Yeah, we talked already about this uncertainty. I talked about this economic policy uncertainty, but we also have these geopolitical uncertainties. So a lot of issues that could pop up. So the Near and Middle East conflict, Iran and Israel. So we have also the uncertainty around with the elections in the US. So if Trump is going to be elected, there will be a lot of trade issues arising. So this makes for many firms it difficult. As I said, investment is very sensitive to uncertainty. And given that the car producers are the most important industry in Germany, so they are facing quite challenging times. So also with China and their electronic cars on the front door. So, but I'm not that skeptical. So it will be a challenging times. But remember, when the Japanese and the Korean car entered the European market, this was also quite challenging, and the German car industries was able to face this competition, and they made their own way, and they were successful. So I hope this will be we will have this issue again over the next years.
And tell us about Germany's infrastructure, which obviously is in dire need of investment. What are your thoughts and comments on that front?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So there's a large need of investment infrastructure. But the problem is now maybe with respect to the German debt brake. So this gives some kind of, as it were, a break also to infrastructure investment. And the issue is we should invest now in infrastructure, so streets, railways, and so on, to get the benefits of these investments, because these benefits will realize a few years later. It takes time to implement, to build streets and so on, and we should invest now, not to get negative returns. If we leave out these investments, this will hinder the growth rates in the future.
You see analysis that say that one of the big factors in terms of Germany's problems at the moment is actually a demographic issue. What do you think about that?
That's absolutely right. So, and as I said, so the demographic transition or demographic change will hit dramatically starting in 2026. And at that point, we will see that more people are leaving the labor market as new people enter the labor market. So, and I'm not sure if every politician and every firm is really aware of this issue, that we will see a declining labor force, and this will also affect growth rates negatively. So the issue is we are not sure, we will see that if artificial intelligence might set off in a way this drop of skilled labor force. But this will be a challenging issue, and I'm not sure if everybody is really aware of this fact.
It seems like, I'm bombarding you with questions about Germany, but really the reality is that, Germany plays such a huge role in Europe's well-being, shall we say. The German economy affects Poland's economy and obviously wider Europe. Is Germany the sick man of Europe? Is this association, this title, is it relevant again?
Yeah, the wording "sick man" is a quite strong one. So, but you're right that Germany is, given its performance, it's rather the lower end, so to say, in the ranking of in Europe. So the good thing is, looking at the latest growth figures from Eurostat, we see that Spain or France made a quite good job independently. So they could have been done better if Germany's economy have performed better. And I think the same is for Poland. But a general issue, not only for firms. So we have talked about resilience, because firms have to become more resilient with respect to their inputs and supply chains. And I think the same holds also for countries. So in case where it's possible, we should be not too connected in a way to other countries. So like Poland or Austria with respect to Germany, because countries should be tried to become more independent if it's possible to ensure its own sustainable growth.
Okay, on that note, we're going to end this conversation. Dr. Klaus Wohlrabe, thank you so much for joining us on The Bottom Line. And that was Dr. Klaus Wohlrabe, Senior Economist at the IFO Institute, here on The Bottom Line. For more business stories, check us out on X and on tvpworld.com. Thank you so much for joining us on Business Arena. I was your host, Marie Cato. Join us again tomorrow at 5 p.m. CET on TVP World. But don't go away. Coming up next, World Talks. Goodbye.